Hello everyone, this is Mr. Hovland again. I got another lesson for us today. What we're gonna learn today is we're gonna learn how to take our name and turn it into some cool art, okay? For this lesson, I was kind of inspired by one of my favorite artists, Klee, and another artist, Joan Miro. I'm gonna show you some examples of that just shortly here. What we'll need for this is a pencil, maybe some markers, some crayons, some paper, whatever you have available, all right? So let's get started here. Let's go ahead and look at some inspiration by Klee real quick here. Klee, he's kind of an interesting artist. He likes to work a lot with just line design, simple shapes, simple colors. Got another book over here. He's got some more examples. See some more examples right here. Lots of just simple lines, design like that, kind of filling up the space. Thick lines, curvy lines, all sorts of unique lines. And then another source of inspiration I'm drawing from is Joan Miro. Joan Miro, he's kind of an interesting fella. He likes to see, he's kind of a surrealist, I guess is what you want to call it. So he takes kind of things that you might see and he kind of manipulates it and changes it, abstracts a little bit here. But again, just kind of simple ideas that we can do with just line thickness, designs that you can add to the background and everything, okay? So there's our inspiration. Now, let us go ahead and start. Let's get this centered here. All right, so we're gonna use the letters of our name and we're gonna be creative, okay? And I'm gonna use my last name. You can use your first name, you can use your last name. If your name's really short, you can add a lot of numbers, favorite numbers or whatnot. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Again, you can use a pencil. I recommend using a pencil to start with. I'm gonna use a Sharpie just so they show up better. You can also use crayons, colored pencils, oil pastels, whatever you have at home, okay? So to start, I'm gonna use the letters of my name. I'm gonna fill up my whole paper and I'm gonna do some different things with my letters as I work on this. So I'm gonna start with a big letter H like this. And then I'm gonna turn my paper and I'm gonna put a letter O in here somewhere. Maybe I'll do an O like this. Overlap them, okay? Turn my paper again, and this time I'm gonna do a V. And I think I'm gonna do a V. Oh, let's do something kind of like this. Maybe I'll connect it right there. And then I'm gonna turn my paper again. I'm gonna do a letter L, and for my L, maybe I'll go and do something like that. Stretched out letter there. Turn my paper again. And I need an A in here. So I think for my A, I'm gonna use part of this line to help me make my A. And do something like that. Stop right there. Got my A hidden in there. Turn my paper again. I need to put an N in here. So I'm gonna try an N. Gotta do this upside down. How am I? So maybe something like this for an N. I'm gonna go all the way over here just to connect it. And then I need a D. And I think for my D, I'm gonna do something like this. And just kinda connect that down like that for my D. All right, so there I have my name all scrambled up here. I wanna show you a couple of things that we can do with this to take this kind of a little bit further here. I have some different examples of different things that you can do with letters. You know, you got your regular capital letter, lowercase letters. You can do cursive letters, practice your cursive, okay? Turn that into art. You can stretch out your letters nice and tall. You can widen them out, so like you're stretching them out like a Laffy Taffy. Use thick, bold lines. Klee and Joan Miro, they love thick, bold lines in their artwork. You could kind of scribble the letters, kind of make them look fuzzy or something. Get really fancy and add sorts of little curly cues here. Make them look like little electrical circuits or whatnot. And then just kind of have some fun, kind of make those letters kind of whimsical, melting, whatever you want to do, have some fun with it, okay? Some other things that we can do with this, once you got your letters on there, is just to kind of break up the space. That would kind of give you an example, kind of like what I did with this one right here. Kind of hid the letters even further by just drawing simple lines and just kind of breaking up big spaces, kind of like this. Anywhere you got a big empty space, you can kind of take your finger and trace, and if you want to close off a space, you can close it off. Like there's a big space in there, maybe I'll close off that space, big space over here. So maybe I'll close that off. Maybe I'll go in this direction. Just kind of do some design like that. Make some little spaces, and you can add different colors in each space here. Okay. Some other things that you can do. This is with crayon, and I used watercolor on top of it. Thick lines. You could add some designs in there and everything. Okay. Here's an example of a crayon one that I'm going to do right now. Just going to take some watercolors, and I'll use a dark black here. And then what I want to do, get it all mixed up. This is kind of that wax resist process here. You kind of add it like that. Get it all painted. Maybe you want to get some other colors in there. And then when you're all done, do this quickly. Now when you guys do this, of course, take your time. But when you're all done, you take your paper towel and kind of dab it out, kind of anywhere you have crayons or wax or oil pastels, whatever you use. Can't really do this with marker. Colored pencil doesn't really work. It's got to be like a wax kind of a material, like a crayon, or an oil material, like an oil pastel. And you can kind of see where the design shows up like that, okay? And some other things. I have my little art journal here. If you have a little book that you can keep all your sketches and your drawings, I highly recommend doing that. It's kind of a nice space to just kind of organize things. A lot of times before I do a big painting myself, I kind of sketch out some ideas. These are some examples. Actually, I'll show you this painting here just in a moment here. But just different little doodles. Oh, instead of turning your paper, you could overlap all of your letters. You know, just kind of doing some kind of like a stained glass almost. We got letters in front of your letters and stuff like that. And then doing some more stuff, kind of doing kind of fancy little designs on there. Okay. And then finally, like I said, if you notice this painting behind me here, that is actually a painting based off the letters of my last name as well. So I hope that you can have some fun with this lesson here. Again, kind of inspired by Klee and Joan Miro. Check them out if you get a chance to. And I'd love to see some examples of what you guys can do with your name, getting creative and having a little bit of fun with it. All right, we'll talk to you another time.